every county. This is your statewide newscast. Arkansas Today.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us for Arkansas Today. I'm Mallory Brooks. The University of Arkansas focusing its efforts on expanding mental health care. Arkansas Today's Kelly O'Neill shows us what improvements have been made with the $11 million project.
We're just trying to be more accessible. That's what it's all about.
With a growing number of students seeking mental health care and limited office space at the Pat Walker Health Center, it was time to expand.
On average, counseling center services, the demand for them is up about 30%, while enrollment nationally is up about 5%. And the numbers for U of A map onto that really well.
Before the expansion, you can see this is where the building ended, but now it's doubled its space for mental health services.
People are just more willing to come forward. I find that with this generation, that they're just more willing to come forward and say, hey, I'm struggling with something, and I'd like to talk about that.
The completed renovation project reorganized the building and added 3 new academic classrooms, mental health areas, and a new waiting area. A relaxation room funded by the family of a U of A student who died by suicide in 2016 was recently finished.
Students can come and go to the room and meditate, just check out, get away from all the cacophony, and do good things for themselves by attending to what they need in the rooms.
Mental health clinic visits at the U of A have increased by almost 30% over the past 4 years. Josette Klein, the director of counseling and psychological services, says the #1 reason people come in is for anxiety.
We have group therapy. It's workshops/group therapy, where it basically teaches tools for how to manage anxiety.
To meet the demand, the number of staff has increased to 70 people, including 16 certified mental health clinicians. Counselors are also now in resident halls. Ultimately, it's about pairing wellness initiatives with mental health needs.
It's become a very lively place, but also a place where people know that they can trust us to address their personal needs, whether it be medical, mental health, wellness, whatever that is, we're here for them.
And officials in Drew County are searching for the people who stole a van from a church. The act was caught on camera, but the sheriff isn't releasing the video because it is still under investigation. Police say thieves took the van from Shady Grove Baptist Church in Monticello on Highway 172. It was found abandoned on Greenfield Drive, full of clothes and tools that had been stolen from an apartment. The van is now outside a local tow company with bullet holes and shattered glass on the inside.
I mean, it was just disbelief. It's hard to believe that would happen. Why would you shoot it up? Because it's stuck? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Hill says this incident won't stop them from their services and events. Changes could be coming soon for student athletes wanting to transfer in district in Springdale. Last November, the Springdale Harbor High School paper was suspended for publishing an article investigating the transfer of 5 football players to Springdale High School. According to the Arkansas Activities Association, the move would make those athletes ineligible to play.
The students of the Harbor Herald did a nice job in identifying that there likely some potential abuse in our current policy. They pointed out that if parents or students or whatever wanted to use any particular loopholes to get to one school or the other, they could.
According to Deputy Superintendent Dr. Jared Cleveland, a revision to the current policy is being considered by Springdale School District officials. The Fayetteville Housing Authority has purchased a motel for $1.5 million to house those who are low income. Now, the board plans to move Hillcrest apartment tenants to the Highway Motel on College Avenue in Fayetteville during renovations for the next 18 months. After the project is complete, the motel will be converted into studio apartments for homeless or low-income veterans.
Comment from them and finding productive ways that the planning commissioners, planning staff, and building professionals could work together to find ways to design better neighborhoods.
Cafe Rue Orland sits in the parking lot of the motel, and the Housing Board Executive Director Angela Belford says the restaurant plans to stay despite the deal. Despite earning more than previous generations, a Pew Research study shows millennials continue to delay buying homes. Economists say despite their high earnings, they aren't buying homes, leaving a lot of houses on the market. A real estate agent tells us one reason: they're attracted to living in bigger cities where affordability is much harder to find. Many home buyers are also entering the market after getting married or starting a family. But millennials say they want to settle down later and first take time to build their careers.
I don't know where I'm going to be in the next 5 years. And so I don't want to get fully settled and commit to something that huge, that big of a deal yet. I want to have more of a plan and have more time on my own as a renter spent in the real world before I commit to something that big.
The National Association of Realtors said over the next 10 years, 70% of the home ownership is going to be the millennials. So they're going to be buying homes at just a little slower than their predecessors.
In Arkansas, 34% of millennials are homeowners. The only downside to them not buying homes right now is they are missing out on the lower prices we are seeing. The Texarkana, Arkansas City Board is now back in session. The returning city directors, Travis Odom and Barbara Miner, were sworn into another term in office, as was newcomer Stephen Hollebush, who was elected to the Ward 3 position in November. Hollebush says he is excited to work with this team to improve Texarkana and the region for residents.
One of the biggest things we're going to do is find funds. You know, we're going to increase our economic development. We're going to pursue businesses. We're going to get some more industries in here that's going to provide jobs and more funding for the city.
Monday night was also Mayor Alan Brown's first Board of Directors meeting. He was sworn into office on New Year's Day. Veterans in the Texarkana area are asking for your help. Area veteran organizations have joined together to help buy a van to transport vets to the VA Medical Center in Shreveport, but they need volunteers to drive the vehicle. For many veterans with mobility issues, this van is their only way to get to their medical appointments. Right now, they only have one driver who makes the trip on Mondays.
These men and women gave it all to go out and fight for their country, and now that they have ailments that prevent them from getting on the interstate to come to our appointments, we need our community to step up.
We've had a full house. We've had to turn them down before because there's just not room in that van.
The goal is to have 20 drivers. To sign up, you must have a driver's license, insurance, and pass a physical provided by the VA. Peck says the drivers won't get paid, but they are provided free breakfast and lunch for their services. Over the last 2 days, troops from the Little Rock Air Force Base have deployed. Throughout this month, the base is deploying about 500 airmen to Southwest Asia to support ongoing operations. The troop will be operating C-130s and supporting troops already in the area.
They're all C-130 operators and maintainers, and so they're going to be focusing on their primary mission, which is providing combat airlift and theater, which means moving stuff around to support the ground force and the commander objective.
The airmen always appreciate the community's thanks and support to the troops and their families during deployment. Taking a look at the day ahead, Secretary Pompeo begins his week-long tour of the Middle East today, where he will meet with various U.S. allies in 8 capital cities. President Trump's National Security Advisor John Bolton traveling to Turkey to meet with his Turkish counterparts. Bolton expected to discuss the U.S. withdrawal from Syria. And suspected Parkland shooter Nicholas Cruz is due back in court today for a status hearing. Cruz is potentially facing the death penalty for the murder of 17 people at a Florida high school in February of last year. And taking a look back in history, it was today in 1935 Elvis Presley was born in Tupelo, Mississippi. The king of rock and roll, accumulating 18 #1 hits before his untimely death in August of 1977. Happy birthday to the king. Coming up, football great Darren McFadden named to the College Hall of Fame. The Big Trail Nation sits down with him to talk about his career.